So this segment is YouTube questions. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it YouTube questions. So if you have any questions you want to ask about Formula E, just put them in the comments below, and then we will answer them. So this first one actually comes from one of our Patreons, and Ed has got the question. So Ed, fire away.
Okay, so our question today comes from Daniel Milford, who asks, should the current season become a super season that runs into 2021? We've sort of paraphrased the question, but that's the essence of it.
But, so that, I think, Formula E, honestly, have missed the boat on this one. I think this was something that they could have done. Now, they've introduced this 2-year cycle, and maybe they didn't need to introduce this 2-year cycle, Jack. Because if they just ran it as a super season, everyone's using the Season 6 powertrain all the way up until 2021. So the fact that they've introduced this 2-year cycle sort of stops them from potentially doing a super season, because there's just they don't need to, because they want to produce a new car at some point. But if they just ran the Season 6 car all the way to 2021, they didn't need to do a two-year cycle, and they could have easily cut costs, because for a whole year they wouldn't have developed a new car.
Yeah, I think basically they are actually doing a super season. They're just dividing it in two and making it 2 seasons. But yeah, it's something that they could have considered. But the thing is, with this fluid situation, there is still a slim chance that we can get this season over by the end of October. So I think it could still be entirely possible that we could get two events, because that's all we need. We only need 2 events to finish off this season. So make both of them double headers, Berlin, Valencia, as I said in the very first show, and then we could go racing by the end of January, and then we could have a season like that. I think that they could have done a super season, but one thing that I do know with what would have been a super season, the more races you have, the less chance that the championship will go down to the final race. And something that I really love about Formula E, especially because Formula One haven't done it for quite a few years, is that there's always a title decider at the final race of the season. So I think the super season, yes, that could have been done before they announced the 2-year rule. But yeah, I think they have done the correct thing, because it with the 2-year rule, because it means that the teams either they can change it this year, they can either change their cars this year or next year. So the super season may not have made sense anyways.
Yeah, well, I don't think it makes sense under its current format of this 2-year system. If they decided to do a super season, I don't think anyone would have minded. If they said, right, fine, we're just going to make a calendar for next season, but that will also be this season. We're not actually going to start a new season. We'll finish in 2021. You're all going to use the same powertrain that you've got now, so therefore you don't have to make a car for a year. That would have saved costs, Ed. But what I think, though, stopped them from that is the fact that next season we become a fully world championship. So did they want to just finish this season as quickly as possible? I don't care if we just do 1 more race or 2 more races for season 6. Let's get to season 7, because then we are official FIA World Championship. And if they did a super season with the season 6 powertrains till 2021, they couldn't have become an official FIA World Championship until maybe the start or the end of 2021, start of 2022.
Well, I think we're going to have to finish this recording as soon as possible too. But yeah, I pretty much agree with that. I think the World Championship status is a big deal for them, and I think they definitely wanted to draw a line under this season. I guess it's like other sports as well, like football, for example, so decided they delayed their season, took the super season approach. I can see why Formula E didn't do that, because they really only needed, I think, like Pico said, a couple more weekends of racing to really, a couple more, 2 more events basically, with maybe 8 double headers or whatever to finish out the season, in terms of making it so that everything counts and it's an official championship. So I can see the temptation of, we want a really big season, but I think moving on to season 7, the Gen 2 cars will still be the same. A lot of things will still be the same, actually. So it's not like we're losing a season or anything. I think overall they've probably made the right steps. But I can see where the complaint of where's the super season is coming from.
Well, yeah, I felt the super season probably was a viable option. Like, it was a viable option to actually, keep the cost down, because if you, in a sense, there are teams now that will be building a car for season 7, a brand new car, which I'll have to keep in season 8 as well. Whereas if everyone, and then you've got this massive, which I'm not going to be, I don't think I'll be a massive fan. I don't think many fans will be a massive fan on, is when you've got a season 8 car or a season 7 car on the grid and a season 6 car on the grid, and there's going to be a discrepancy in performance potentially between those two cars, and making it, maybe the teams that have their season 7 car next season will be the stronger teams, and the teams with season 6 will fall to the back. Let's imagine Tech Cheetah decide not to build a season 7 car next season. They're the best team at the moment in Formula E, but they drop to midfield simply because the likes of Jaguar, BMW decided to build their season 7 car first, and then you've got that discrepancy in performance, which I suppose they'll have to keep for season 8, and then when Tech Cheetah come back. But then you've got 2 years of this up and down performance thing, whereas if you had a super season, everyone's on the same playing field. You finish the season with all the same machinery, and then you make new machinery for the start of, season 7 technically, but would have been season 8. And I think finally we'd put to bed this season 7, season 6, season 5 sort of stuff, simply because, and we can refer to it as a 2021 or 2022 championship, and we can't keep remembering, that was season 1, that was season 2. We just call it the championship by name.